On to chapter 3 of Miss Meyer is on fire. All right. The thing that wouldn't die. Okay. Miss Meyer was pacing back and forth across the stage as she talked to us. I know kids are curious about fire, she said. Fire can be a wonderful thing. We use it to cook our food. We use it to warm our houses in the winter. But fire can be a dangerous thing, too. The kids know that every year in the United States, more than 500,000 houses burn down? Wow, we all said, which is mom upside down. Wow, it's mom upside down. Ugh. Miss Meyer told us that we should never play with matches, lighters, or fireworks. We should never touch radiators or heaters. We should never stick anything into an electrical outlet socket. We should never put a blanket or a piece of clothing over a lamp because it gets hot and it can catch on fire. She sure knew a lot of interesting stuff about fire. While she was talking, we were all glued to our seats. Well, not really. That would be weird. You would have to be crazy to glue yourself to a seat. How would you get glued off your pants? Anyway, Miss Meyer told us a lot of other stuff we could do to prevent fires. Play with toy kids, she said, not fire. When she was finished talking, we walked 1,100,000 miles back to our classroom. Andrea was the line leader. Neil was the door holder. Okay, Mr. Cooper said after we settled into our seats. Turn to page 23 in your math. He didn't get the chance to finish his sentence when out of the hallway all these lights started flashing. Sirens started screaming. You'll never believe who walked in the door at that moment. Nobody. It would hurt if you walked into a door. Oh my gosh. It's so silly. You'll never believe who walked into the doorway. It was Miss Myers. To what do we owe the pleasure to your company, Miss Meyer? Asked Mr. Cooper. That's grown up talk for what are you doing here? I'm going from class to class to check all the fire extinguishers, smoke detectors too, Miss Meyer. Mr. Cooper closed his math book. I bet they were relieved they didn't have to do math now. Go ahead, he said, but he didn't sound all that happy about it. First, I like to tell a joke, said Miss Meyer. See, as he was doing in the classroom, he was doing math. Another joke? I was still trying to figure out the first joke. What kind of crackers do firefighters put in their soup? What? What kind of crackers do firefighters put in their soup? Do you know? She asked. I don't know, said Michael. I don't know, said Alexia. I don't know, said Ryan. In case you were wondering, everybody was saying they didn't know. Firecrackers, said Miss Meyer. Oh my goodness. Everybody laughed, even though she didn't say anything funny again. Miss Meyer took the fire extinguisher off the wall and looked at it. We already knew it worked because Mr. Cooper had used it the day before to put out Emily. Oh my goodness. Then Miss Meyer climbed up on a chair, carefully unscrewed the smoke detector from the ceiling. Oh my goodness. I hope you just don't fall down. Smoke detectors save lives, she told us. Your parents should have one on every floor of the house. We only have one floor, but we have one. If there was a smoke detector on every floor of the house, I said, we would be tripping over smoke detectors all the time. And she thinks you should put them on the floor. Everybody laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Andrea rolled her eyes like, oh, AJ. Miss Meyer, I mean, the smoke detector should be on the ceiling. That made no sense at all. If she meant we should have smoke detectors on the ceilings, why did she say we should have them on the floor? He's confused. Oh my gosh. She means if you have a two-story house or a basement. Ah, AJ. Floors and ceilings are opposite. If you hear your smoke detector start beeping, get low and get out of your house. Get low. It's like get on the ground. Repeat after me. Get low and go. Get low and go. We all chanted. Get low and go. Very good, said Miss Meyer. Any questions about smoke detectors? Andrea started waving her hand around like she's trying to signal a plane. What a brown noser. Andrea always asks questions. She thinks it makes you look smart when you ask questions. If you ask me, it's the other way around. If you know a lot of stuff, you don't need to ask questions. You only need to ask a lot of questions if if you're a dumbhead like Andrea who doesn't know anything. That's not nice. Oh my gosh. He calls everybody names. What is wrong with AJ? Miss Meyer called on her, of course. How does the smoke detector know there's smoke? Andrea asked. Yeah, said Michael. How can it smell if it doesn't have a nose? That's a good question. I imagine a smoke detector that was made in the shape of a nose. That would be cool. Yeah, they should definitely sell them in stores. Good questions, Miss Meyer replied. Smoke detectors don't need a nose. They have a light sensor in them and they can see the smoke. Watch this. She took a book of matches out of her pocket and she lit a match. Kids, don't try this at home, she said. I'm a professional. She blew out the match and smoke started rising up from it. Miss Meyer held the match under the smoke detector. Beep, 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 went the smoke detector. It looks like your smoke detector works perfectly, said Miss Meyer. Isn't that an annoying sound? Yes, said Mr. Cooper. I hate that sound. Me too, said everybody. Because everybody hates that beeping sound that smoke detectors make. Beep, 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 beep. Can you please turn it off now? Asked Andrea. That noise hurts my ears. 1 second, said Miss Meyer, and she fiddled with the smoke detector. Beep, 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 beep. It kept going. I, for once, I had to agree with Andrea. That beeping is the most annoying sound in the history of the world. Beep, 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 beep. Maybe you should take it out of the battery, suggested Mr. Cooper. I'm trying to take out the battery. The little battery door of the smoke detector is stuck. Oh no! Beep, beep, beep. It was horrible. I thought I was gonna die. We were all holding our hands over our ears to keep out the noise. Miss Meyer was having trouble taking the battery out of the smoke detector. Beep, 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 beep. My head is gonna explode, I shouted. Beep, 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 beep. It's driving me crazy, shouted Emily. We We got to do something. Beep, 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 beep. Quick, give me the fire extinguisher. Hollered Miss Meyer. Mr. Cooper grabbed the fire extinguisher and handed it to her. Are you going to shoot the fire extinguisher at the smoke detector to turn it off? Said Andrea. Not exactly, said Miss Meyer. That was when the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. Miss Meyer put out the smoke detector. She put it on the floor. Then she raised a fire extinguisher over her head, smashed it down on on top of the smoke detector. Smash! Crack! Oh, snap, said Ryan. She totally crushed it. Ryan was right. Miss Meyer had broken the smoke detector into pieces. That thing wouldn't be detecting any smoke for a long time. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look. Everybody was going crazy with that sound and she smashed it. Oh my gosh. Whew, at least the beeping sound was over. Busting stuff is cool. They should have a TV channel where they just bust stuff all day long. I would watch that channel every day. But that's when something even more amazing happened. Beep, beep. The smoke detector was still beeping. Even though it was busted into pieces, nobody could believe it. Miss Meyer picked up the fire extinguisher again and slammed it down on one of the pieces of the smoke detector. Smash! Beep, 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 beep. He was still beeping. Miss Meyer looked really mad. She picked up the fire extinguisher, slammed it down on the smoke detector over and over and over again. She looked like the crazy person. It was like a horror movie I saw one. The thing that wouldn't die. I'm not sure I approve of this violence, say Andrea. It sets a bad example for children. What do you have against violence? I asked Andrea. Not violence, Arlo, violence. Finally, Miss Meyer stopped hitting the smoke detector. She was sweating, shaking, and panting. There were little pieces of smoke detector all over the floor. Oh my goodness. I thought one of them might start beeping again. Everything was quiet. Well, thank you for that informative lesson about fire safety, said Mr. Cooper. I think Mr. Cooper was mad. Oh, look at she looks crazy. Look at all the pieces and the fire extinguisher on the floor. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ugh. Okay. I gotta get comfortable. And I think we all learned a new use for fire extinguishers. Don't do that. Miss Meyer wiped off her face and said she had to walk to the other classes. One more thing, she said when she reached the door. It's time to replace your smoke detector. This one is broken. And she left. Miss Meyer is weird. Later, chapter 4 on another video. Stay tuned. What would happen next?